The lush green leaves of the honge tree has provided cool shade and refreshing air for ages. Sleeping underneath honge trees is an integral part of the rustic life, especially during summers. The oil from the seeds of this versatile honge tree has been in use since Vedic times for lighting lamps. Today, remote villages are reverting back to the honge oil for various needs. Is honge oil on the comeback trail? This small village of Karnataka is 100 kilometers from Bangalore. Ungra looks like any other village of Karnataka, but there is a little difference. Here, electricity is locally generated by diesel engines, but the engines are not run by diesel fuel. Their indigenously prepared fuel is used instead, which is extracted from locally grown honge seeds. This transformation is the result of a pilot project called Sutra, Sustainable Transformation of Rural Areas, created and organized by the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. And it is funded by the Department of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, Government of Karnataka, and the Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources, Government of India. The goal of Sutra is 1. To supply electricity for home lighting and to pump protected water for domestic use. Every house of Ungra village has been provided with one water tap. Maintenance and management of the water grid is by village volunteers. 2. To provide irrigation water for 1 acre of dry land crop per household throughout the year to generate year-round wage days for every family. 3. To encourage establishment of green cover of economically useful trees in about 1/3 of the village landhold area.
This oil, which we call honge oil, is Pungami is its Latin name. It gives an oil which is almost usable in the engine directly, except that we need to thoroughly filter it, clean it, and we got to degum this. Now, this is not the only oilseed available in our country. There's something like nearly 300 different varieties of oilseeds which are available. From all of them, we can extract oil. An engine will always burn this, provided the oil will not clog the nozzles, and it can be sprayed as fine droplets into this engine. Now, to be able to do that, essentially one needs to heat up the oil to appropriate temperature so that the viscosity of the oil becomes comparable to that of diesel. On the other hand, anything that can possibly clog, like these particulates or the gummy material, these need to be removed. And there is a simple process known in oil technology works which can be used for this purpose.
Honge oil, unlike petroleum fuels on burning, does not add net carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is said to be the source of several environmental hazards like global warming. Honge trees grow wild in arid and semi-arid tracts in large parts of South India. A village panchayat can plan its energy requirements and can accordingly plant honge and other oil-seed yielding trees on private and waste lands. These trees, if consciously planted, will give the villagers an easy source of fuel oil, particularly to these villages which are far away from petrol pumps. In addition, the waste material after extraction can be used as effective manure for the soil.
Honge oil is one of those which can almost be used in its natural state directly, and we have used this oil now for several thousand hours in about 4 to 5 engines. Oil, when you use it for replacing diesel, its calorific value is almost comparable to that of diesel, except for a factor of about 10% or so. and therefore to replace a liter of diesel you need about 100 milliliters more as compared to diesel. So in that sense this oil is absolutely suitable, but many when you are using other oils, they contain often some gummy substance which needs to be cleaned and then used.
The extraction of honge oil in large scale in an organized manner will bring down the cost and will be very competitive with diesel fuel. The sample cost calculations. Cost of 4 kgs honge seeds, rupees 12. Expelling charges, rupees 2. Subtotal, rupees 14. Returns from selling honge cake, rupees 11. Therefore, effective price of oil in village, rupees 3 per kg. Price of diesel, rupees 16 per kg. The price of honge oil is 5 times lesser than diesel. However, the present market price of honge oil is rupees 14 per kg, and this high cost is due to crude form of extraction, retailers taking lion's share of the profit, no organized production of honge seeds.
Regarding the economics of use of this oil in diesel engines for power generation, 3 important points come to mind. One is adequacy of the resources. The other one is the cost of this oil as compared to diesel today, and the third point is what this cost is going to remain in the future. Regarding adequacy, particularly in the rural areas, it appears that if each household, wherever possible, can grow about 15 to 20 trees, the seeds from these trees can provide them, when the seeds are collected at the village level and converted into power, can give them nearly 150 units per month per household, which is almost comparable to what is made available to people in the cities. Or in other words, the households in the villages need not have the current shortage of power supply. Regarding the cost of these oil seeds, even though current price of oil seed in the market is appears quite high, of the order of 15 to 20 rupees per kilogram, the villagers who actually grow these trees and obtain the seeds do not get adequate remuneration. From their point of view, they sell their seeds barely for about 2 to 3 rupees a kilogram, and at this cost, if you try to add the expelling charges and the cleaning up charges, and also account for the remuneration they get for the oil seed cake, it amounts to only about 4 to 5 rupees a kilogram. On the other hand, since these are local resources being used locally, the economy of this oil, one could hope, to be decoupled to the economy, to the international economy determined by the dollar exchange rates. Or in other words, if people are, as long as the people are using it for themselves, they could continue to have this facility probably for the next 1,000 years. And in that sense too, these oil seeds would make sense.
It is seen that honge oil is very competitive with diesel fuel. But how does it rate on other fronts? Let's have a look at the comparative study chart. Honge oil versus diesel fuel. Honge oil is eco-friendly, whereas diesel fuel is not eco-friendly. Honge oil is renewable, whereas diesel fuel is non-renewable. Honge oil is locally available and therefore doesn't have to be imported. Diesel fuel, however, has to be imported. Honge oil has minimal transportation, whereas diesel fuel has extensive transportation. If extensively used, honge oil will lead to self-reliance. Extensive use of diesel fuel, however, has led to increased dependence. Honge oil saves precious foreign exchange, whereas use of diesel fuel leads to loss of foreign exchange.
Almost a century ago, Rudolf Diesel developed this engine for using a variety of fuels, and the records say that in fact ran his first engine on coal powder. He foresaw that his engine will eventually be using vegetable oils from trees and from other sources, and will generate enough power for the community. However, around after the First World War, a large number of oil fields were discovered, and the fossil fuel, this fossil oil, became available almost for the cost of pumping it out. And at such throwaway prices, vegetable oils could not compete at all, and they fell into disuse, and the use of diesel and other petroleum fuels caught up. However, after the oil crisis in the 70s, various countries started looking at alternatives to fossil fuels, and particularly the US and the Europe argued that agriculture-based oil crop is most suitable for them, both for growing and harvesting, and the emphasis of theirs was mostly for canola, that is a variety of mustard seed oil, and they've been done extensive work on the use of this oil.
Biodiesel derived from vegetable oil is currently produced and used throughout Europe and is slowly gaining worldwide popularity as an alternative energy source because of its many advantages. Biodiesel reduces tailpipe emissions, visible smoke, and noxious odors. It operates well in conventional diesel engines with no engine modifications required. It can also be used in a blend with conventional diesel while still achieving substantial reductions in emissions. Because biodiesel is biodegradable and has a significantly higher flash point, handling and storage are safer than conventional diesel fuels. Hence, biodiesel is a promising prospect for a cleaner tomorrow.